My name's Erin Clark, and for this evidence-based practice research paper, I really wanted to look into something that interests me and something that I've been thinking about and wanting to get more into or learning more about. So, the past year or so, what has really been itching at me is how exercise can affect a person's health, not just with cardiovascular health, with muscle tone or weight loss or anything like that, but mainly health, mental health issues. Mental health issues I have seen increase in the United States a lot recently, whether it's anxiety, everyone's talking about their anxiety, depression, and a lot of self esteem. Whether social media, everything else contributes to everything that's happening with mental health, I truly believe that exercise can have a large effect on mental health and how people can get better and increase their serotonin, dopamine, everything that can help contribute to a healthier mental health. So once I kind of looked at what interested me with exercise and mental health, I wanted to reduce it down to one mental health issue. So I wanted to look at self-esteem. And then with self-esteem, I broke it down thinking about where self-esteem starts. And thinking back and looking back, kids out on the playground, that's where it starts, where that's where you develop, that's where people start talking, friend groups start being created. You have PE. So that's where I came with the question, which is my first step, was finding a question in order to research. And that was, how does exercise affect self-esteem in adolescents? So after I found my question, I then went to looking for my research. And I started off, looking at exercise in adolescence and breaking it down from there. And it wasn't too difficult to find self-esteem studies with adolescents and exercise, but what I found was a lot of them were actually in London, not necessarily in the United States. So that is one thing that I would be interested in investing and even maybe trying to figure out my own type of research on physical education and how to increase the physical activity for children and adolescents and everything to help develop that self-esteem and that confidence in the younger generations, because I think that's what truly needs to happen. So once I went through the research, found the research, I kind of started to break it down to look at what type of exercises were really utilized, and the main thing I found is aerobic and resistance training, which makes sense. Those are the two kind of most basic exercise programs that are usually invested in and researched with experiments and whatnot. So came down to it that almost all types of little bit of exercise helps with adolescent self-esteem, but each of them affected a specific type of child, whether it was the more obese children were affected more with resistance training because it helped with the fat loss, or probably more muscle gain where you can actually see a difference in the tone of the body, and that just alone puts the confidence back into children with their self-esteem and self-worth. And then it also came down to the fact that I believe that when children have something to do in the adolescence, you have something to do, some goal to reach, and something to work for. It gives them purpose, and that's where the self-worth and self-esteem comes in. So with these studies, I found that the way they were testing them and the methods were through pre and post surveys, which can always be biased and swayed, but with the younger generations, I can see them, children are honestly either the most honest or the most dishonest. So it comes down to every other type of research where you're going to have outliers. But overall, with every single study showing that some type of exercise helps with self-esteem, it came out that exercise in adolescence will increase self-esteem and self-worth. And you can never find causation through correlation, but through this correlation, there is a positive correlation with exercise and self-esteem in children. And that just motivates me more to get involved and more interested in this idea of keeping physical activity and physical education in schools, definitely for the developing children, because that's truly, truly what they need is a purpose, is something to strive for, something to work for, to show that hard work pays off. And through these studies, I've really seen that, you give a kid a study, something to do, give them the exercise and the post-test, and they'll show results. So overall, this research paper has shown me, one, how to go through all the stages of finding research, looking at it. I found some bad research that I didn't end up using, because it wasn't good research. It didn't have everything that I needed. And also just showed me even more that you can help out, you can do something, and there's a lot that goes into research is another thing I found. There's a lot of different things, whether it is just the methods, the money that goes into it, breaking everything down by looking at the outliers, the possible control, everything like that. So overall, this research paper just made it all surreal and helped me put it all together and motivated me to just keep doing what I'm doing and studying what I'm studying, because it's for the better. Thanks.